Okay, got the camera, got the mic, got the fragrances, got a drink, got the annoying bastards digging up their garden the one day of the year that I decided to film outside. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah.
You can also be a freaky, crazy, fun guy, like sometimes I am, but I just stretched my, you know what, my penis actually in the bathroom, and now I'm very much excited because I have good thoughts and all that stuff, so...
Word to your mother, my name's Steve, this channel is Fragrance Riches. Thank you for tuning in. So, I've never filmed in my garden before, and the one time that I decided to do it is the day that someone decides to use a digger to dig up their garden. Really annoying, but I'm going to plough through, no pun intended. So there might be some cuts and chops, and I might have to stop talking at times. I don't know, we'll see how this goes. But anyway, it is autumn, everyone's dropping their fragrance list. Well, it's not autumn, is it? It's not autumn until the 21st of September, but everybody's dropping their lists, so I've got to drop mine. So here's my top 6 fragrances that I'm going to be wearing this autumn, with one honourable mention. So the one honourable mention is going to go to a fragrance that I reviewed. I'll link the review down below. I reviewed it from sample, I enjoyed it so much, I then bought a full bottle and I sold something that it often gets compared to because I think this smells better. The fragrance I'm mentioning here is Prada Luna Rosa Carbon. As I said, I really enjoyed the sample, so I went and bought a full bottle of this, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm not a Sauvage fan. So as I said in that review, this smells really good. I think it smells better than Dior Sauvage, so do not write it off as just another Dior Sauvage clone. I would say it's more like a Dior Sauvage flanker, but with the added lavender, it actually smells a lot classier, more sophisticated, and I think it smells better. And I actually get really good performance from this. It lasts most of the day, and it projects really well. So do not write this off, that's all I'm saying. Go and check this out. That's Prada Luna Rosa Carbon. In at number 6 is a fragrance that I picked up fairly recently, but it's one that I used to wear back in the day because this was actually released in 2011, and it used to be a sort of signature scent kind of fragrance for me because I used to wear it a lot for work and also in the evenings because I think it's sexy enough to get away in those kind of date night, going out type situations. The fragrance I'm talking about is Hugo Boss Orange for Men. Now, I really enjoy this fragrance. I think it works really well in the autumn because it's the sort of fragrance that it's, as I say, it's a signature scent style. So it's not a hot weather fragrance, it's not a cold weather fragrance, it's those classic kind of middle of the road type temperatures. And it's a fragrance that I just really enjoy. I sort of joked in my last video that when I originally used to wear this before I was a fraghead, I didn't realise that there was no actual orange in this. I just assumed there was, but it's actually red apple is one of the most prominent notes in this. But then once it dries down, you also get some vanilla and cedar in the base, and there's some pepper along the way. So it is a signature scent style fragrance where it's very kind of quite fresh in the opening. There's got some spice to it, and it's kind of, and the vanilla and cedar gives it a kind of, it makes it sexy enough that you can wear in a lot of different situations. So don't write this off. You can get this really cheap now, and I really enjoy it. Hugo Boss Orange for Men. In at number 5 is another classic. Well, this is quite literally a vintage batch. So anybody that follows the channel, you'll have seen that earlier in the year I managed to pick up a vintage batch of Le Nuit from Yves Saint Laurent, and I've not had that much opportunity to wear it apart from the odd kind of evening as a scent of the night post shower. So now the weather's going to get a little bit cooler. I'm really looking forward to wearing the Nuit de l'Homme, the vintage batch that I own from 2009. So this smells a lot thicker and richer and more dense than the current batches. Now, the difference isn't dramatic, so don't kind of panic and think I need to get a vintage batch. It's not dramatic, but it does smell better than the current batches, but it's not night and day, but it is noticeable. It smells a bit thicker, a bit denser, and that does help the performance a bit. It just makes it a bit more noticeable, but it doesn't improve the longevity dramatically. It just means that it's more noticeable in the sillage. It's got a better sillage because it's a bit thicker and it's just a bit more noticeable, and you'll get more wafts of it. but the longevity isn't much more than the current batches, so I kind of get 5, maybe 6 hours at a push. So, but this vintage batch from 2009 does smell better, and I'm really looking forward to wearing it this autumn. In at number 4 is another fragrance that I picked up fairly recently, but I'm really enjoying it and I think it's going to work really well this autumn. And that is John Varvatos, or John Varvatos, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But it is the original cologne. So not Artisan, not Rebel, Rebel Rider, any of those. This is the original release from John Varvatos. This smells really, really good. I'm really enjoying this. So it's quite a very prominent leather note, which I didn't actually sort of mention in my first impressions. I said there was something there that was giving it a big oomph, and that oomph comes from the leather. So it's kind of got a fresh, sort of almost fruity kind of opening, but then as it kind of dries down, the leather becomes a bit more kind of prominent and it sort of leads the way. But there's some nice sweetness there from some vanilla and some caramel, and there is an oud list as well, but I don't really get much oud. There is a sort of subtle kind of woodiness to it, I guess. But this is just, smells really good. It's a very kind of nice manly smell without being kind of too much, too over the top, or it's not too sweet, it's not too woody, it's not too anything. It just smells really, really good. Performance isn't great, but that's one of the advantages from working from home. You can just top up. So yes, now you can get this cheap enough. I urge you to kind of get your nose on John Varvatos, the original cologne. In at number 3 is a fragrance that I love, but my wife isn't a big fan of, unfortunately, which is surprising because this is renowned for being a mass appealing fragrance. I'm talking about Viktor & Rolf Spice Bomb. So this is the original Spice Bomb, the EDT. Now, I personally prefer this over Spice Bomb Extreme. I do enjoy Spice Bomb Extreme. I think that's better suited for kind of winter. With this, I think works really well in autumn because it's got some kind of freshness to it, but it's kind of very bubblegummy as well, and that kind of sweetness helps it give it a little bit more oomph in the sort of slightly colder weather or slightly cooler weather that you get in autumn, as opposed to the sort of cold weather you get in winter. So I really enjoy this. Performance isn't as good as Spice Bomb Extreme, but it's not awful on me. I can sort of live with it. It's not too bad, to be honest, but I just really enjoy it. I just put them on my arm and it's just this lovely, comforting fragrance. I often wear this when in the evening as a scent of the night after I've had a shower and I just want to snuggle up all nice and comfy on the sofa, because I find it, that sort of bubblegum vibe I find very sort of comforting, and it's just quite a nice snuggly scent. So I think it works really well in cooler weather that you'll get in autumn, yet it's still really sexy and attractive fragrance. Unfortunately not to my wife, but you know, who cares. That's Viktor & Rolf Spice Bomb. In at number 2 is a fragrance that I love. I've raved about it over all the different formats I have, the Instagrams, the YouTubes, the Scent Geeks podcast that I share with Chris from the channel Fragmental. I originally smelt it on his channel and he gave this a kind of 10 out of 10 kind of fragrance, and I totally agree with him. It is Azzaro's Wanted by Night. I love this fragrance. It's actually my scent of the day today, so I might have a little cheeky top up. Can't go wrong. So it's just got this lovely sort of fresh yet sweet manly leather kind of thing going on. I just really enjoy it. I think it works really well. It was actually my scent of the night at my work's Christmas party last year. I just really, really enjoy it. For me, it's sexy, it's mass appealing, yet it's got some uniqueness. I'm not saying it's the most unique fragrance in the world, but it's not just the same as all the like Invictus, etc. To me, it smells fairly unique. I've not smelled this on that many people, to be honest. So I really, really enjoy it. Azzaro Wanted by Night. I've actually used quite a lot of this, and I need to get a bigger bottle, to be honest, because I plan on rinsing the hell out of this in autumn. So yeah, can't wait to really go to town on this fragrance. That's Azzaro's Wanted by Night. So we've reached the number 1 spot, and it could have easily gone for Azzaro Wanted by Night because I love that fragrance so much, but I love this fragrance as well. And I've not really spoken about this particular version too much on my channel, and it is Bleu de Chanel, the Parfum version. So I've raved about the EDP in the past, and I do love that. And if you're going to buy only one version of Bleu de Chanel, I'd probably recommend that you get the EDP because it's cheaper than the Parfum, it performs better, and it smells almost as good. But that's the point, it doesn't quite smell as good as the Parfum, and the Parfum does perform a little bit, or it just works a little bit better in the cooler weather that you get in autumn. I'll go with the EDP in kind of spring, summer, and when it gets a little bit cooler in the autumn, I'm going for the Parfum. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit richer from that incense, and it's just that makes it a little bit more sexier. It's not quite as fresh, but it is kind of a little bit sexier, and I love it. I do have to go heavier on this. As I say, it doesn't perform as well as the EDP, unfortunately, so I do have to wear more sprays, but it's not a problem because I just love how this smells. Oh, it smells so good. If you want to get a bottle of this, you rarely get discounted Bleu de Chanel, anyway, genuine versions. So what I did is I waited for the fragrance shop to have a 20% discount code. So I grabbed it then and used cashback. So that's the way to go, because then it starts making this a little bit more viable. Otherwise, try and get a decent kind of decant or partial bottle or something like that. But the Parfum smells so good. You've got to get your nose on it if you haven't smelt it before. So that's it, that's my autumn list video. I hope you liked the change of scenery. I normally like to get out and about when I'm filming these videos, but unfortunately filming in the back garden backfired big time. So I hope you liked my kitchen instead, at least. Thanks for watching. If you did get anything out of this, do please hit the like button. I would love you for doing so. And if you haven't already done so, I would love you even more if you could hit the subscribe button. But you know, there's no pressure. You're an adult. Do what you want. It's your life. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just asking you very nicely. Thanks for watching. I will see you for the next video. Take care. Much love.